Let's just play out visual. Sikta joining us from Nepal. Sikta, we will be with you shortly, but that's the helicopter that's carrying Oli, the Prime Minister, after he has stepped down. Do remember that he has plans in place to leave for Dubai in order to get away from Nepal. This is after the youth that has, demanded that resignation. He has tendered that resignation. He has written a letter to the president. And now, of course, what is really being urged by the youth, as far as the protesters are concerned, that this has really, resulted in a huge loss of life as well as property. Of course, the protesters started yesterday, resulted in the death of 19 of the ones who were protesting, and also left many of the policemen injured. We're talking about over 250 people who were injured, including 100 policemen. But now what is really coming about is, what is really being asked is that, the appeal is to exercise restraint so that further loss of life and property does not occur, is the demand that is really being made. And that is what the army is actually asking for. The army there asking for the people to, not to let more loss of property and life happen in the country. And that is the demand that is, and that is, what is being urged of the protesters. Vishal, my colleague, joining us in order to get us the latest on this. Vishal, their demands have been met. The government, we've seen from the Parliament building as well as to the Prime Minister's residence, his private residence at that, and of course the President, and also, the office of the Prime Minister, amongst all the residences and offices of ministers that came under attack, that were attacked by the protesters. Now, of course, visuals playing out on our screen of the helicopter, the chopper that's taking Oli, the Prime Minister, also, he is leaving from Kathmandu. Take us through, what is it? Why is it that this protest is still continuing? What do they wish to achieve?
So, now that the major demands of the protesters have been met, the question is how long this will go on, because we've been reporting that there's no big talking heads as far as these protests are concerned, because these were scattered, these were organized in a very haphazard manner. Even though there was some rallying on social media that spilled over into the real world, but as far as rallying the people, the thousands of lakhs of people who you've congregated across Nepal for these protests, they were done mostly in a haphazard manner, because there are no 2 or 3 big people who would have organized these protests. We've been reporting throughout that people had been very reactive in these protests, because we've seen similar protests happening across in the other country of Bangladesh, but that was more organized, because we had student leaders from across Bangladesh talking about the various issues in Bangladesh. But here it's more of a day-to-day basis. People are reacting, and they are reacting to many online trends such as Nepo Kids, such as hashtag people of Nepo Kids, such things like that have been spread across social media, and that have translated into real world protests. So it will have to be seen how the Nepalese government, which seems to be in tatters at the moment, it seems to have collapsed, to be precise. So
we're seeing utter chaos playing out on the streets, and this is a move, of course, of the Prime Minister stepping down after 36 hours of protests and sloganeering such as KP Chor, Desh Chor, asking KP to leave the country, and that is really the demand, and take action against corrupt leaders. This is after reports, of course, of the Prime Minister there is said to be leaving for Dubai. Visuals playing out of that chopper taking KP Sharma Oli. We have with us Akhilesh Upadhyay, senior journalist, joining us from Kathmandu. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking with us here on NDTV. If you could just, tell us, because we do know that the airport's been shut down, all flights have reportedly been cancelled. We're seeing the chopper on standby in order to take Prime Minister Oli. What are his plans?
I don't know his plans, honestly. I am not his advisor. But I can tell you more the story on the ground as it unfolded last 2 days,
Right, please go ahead.
So here is what happened last 2 days. Let me back up and give you a context of how the events have unfolded last few weeks. There was first a clampdown on social media site across the board, except a few. And social media sites, now social media platforms have been so central to Nepali imagination last few years, increasingly so, where the youngsters go all the time and vent. And I come from this space where I treat the young people a lot more intelligent with better worldviews than our sclerotic political class, which is like been there, we've seen them again and again come to office. And you have to understand that the credibility was not lost overnight, as oftentimes the popular media likes to project it. And yesterday was more a manifestation of the brewing discontent that was long simmering on the ground. It was not just an upsurge one fine day when Nepal went berserk. No, definitely not.
Right, sir, there have been a lot of allegations of nepotism. If you could, elaborate on that.
I would say, yes, nepotism, corruption, but I would say that it's a thing like this. If you don't like someone, or if you think someone's incompetent, let's say, forget like, then you begin to see a lot of things that make you dislike or disrespect them in the first place. So what happened is the confluence of so many groups, and hence I see such great spontaneity in this, rather than taking a dim view of it. Yeah, as you said, there is Nepo kids, there are like tons of others, and it's a very spontaneous, youthful movement. Having watched two major movements of Nepal, and third one from the ground, not from the desktop. In 1990, it was party led by parties. In 2006, again led by parties. One of them had just come above ground, the Maoist. But this one is so, spontaneous, and there is no leader to it. And it happens with oftentimes in zeitgeist movement,